Seamus, you started to mention the Duke controller, so I wanted to ask you,
The Duke.
were you involved with it? Take me back to the Duke. I mean, it's quite legendary for certain reasons now. What was the goal with it?
Let's just say that starting out at a software company and deciding that you're going to ship a game console involves what might be referred to or termed a steep learning curve.
True.
And, you know, there are design issues and all sorts of things. I mean, to cut a long story short, what I heard, which may or may not be true, but the story that was represented to me, possibly in order to put me off complaining so much, there may have been some manipulation of me involved in this, was that somebody's like brother-in-law or something had an electronics design firm, like in Washington or somewhere friendly, somewhere not China where we couldn't figure out anything that was going on. And they had designed the internal circuit board for the controller with the features that we wanted, which was 2 analog sticks that were sort of off, things that seem obvious now, which were batshit at that point. Right? And he could make this, but the circuit board was essentially the size of a large dinner plate. And so this poor woman, this very talented industrial designer called Denise, was given the job of fitting this large formal dinner plate inside of some industrial design that would make it seem like a game controller. And so she accomplished that task. And then much consumer research was done after the fact to prove that no, people love a giant controller. And I can remember putting it on my leg in Japan and trying to say, see, you can rest it on your leg. And this Japanese TV host put it on his leg, which is much smaller than mine, and it immediately fell off, and he said no. And I'm like,
Well, then that brings us to the Controller S, which debuted in Japan.
Thank you.
Well, it's the only way we're going to sell anything in Japan, because you could. The Duke was a non-starter in the Asian market. Period.
So
one of the things we did actually to try to get the smaller controller argument started up again after I had made the political decision I couldn't complain about it anymore was go to Japan and talk to Japanese developers, and we had this letter. And we had so many developers who were complaining about the controller, we actually put it in a spreadsheet. So we used Excel, which inside of Microsoft, now you're serious, this is the nuclear option. I'm going to give you Excel.
Ed Freeze invented Excel.
It's one step before a PowerPoint. And that's, which is the real nuclear option. But so we had all these Japanese developers complaining about it. And before we started, we were actually just talking about the biggest Xbox controller of all time.
The Steel Battalion controller.
Steel Battalion controller. So I'm in the middle of secretly arranging for all the Japanese developers to complain about the size so that maybe we can switch it. And I go to Capcom, and it's like the same era. And they open up a door for the secret thing and say, oh, but we also want you to approve this. And they open it up, and I'm like, wait, I'm canvassing them to make a smaller controller, and you're asking me to approve a desk? It's awesome.
Yeah, that Steel Battalion, that would never get made today. I don't know how the heck that happened
Something I
then.
used to use, I didn't take it out of the box. If somebody came in my office and they needed an extra chair, they sat on the Steel Battalion box.
There was a thing with Steel Battalion, though.
It had 1,000 input controls. It had sticks and buttons. It was completely intimidating.
And if you died, you died.
Oh, that was it? You're saying, if you didn't eject before, you were
Click,
done.
bang.